Hi everyone, welcome to another video on the JayBee
Hello.
and Milly channel. We are as always joined by Smash.
Hello.
And Rhianna.
Hello.
So today we wanted to have a quick chat about the news of the new Velma series. So there's been a few articles appearing online about this and we've seen like some initial artwork released, JayBee.
Yeah, so because I've seen on like Comic Book Reporter or something that Warner Bros have asked them specifically not to do the image. It's not the visual that we're seeing today, right? But it is out there and it should be the thumbnail unless we get asked to take it down, but I don't know how to describe it. Basically, we've got some naked women, we've got Velma, and what appears to be someone with a chopped up head. And I think that's the only image that's been released, unless they presented a trailer and this was just a screenshot. But I don't know.
Okay.
I've just seen the screenshot.
So you were mentioning Warner Brothers there, JayBee. What did you say Warner Brothers' stance was on that again?
Just that apparently comic book, like I read an article, well not an article, it was like, it was just an image of the Velma logo, the one that we've seen, the white one, and it just said, as respect to Warner Brothers Pictures, who told us not to take any screenshots, like we're not posting a picture there. It's nothing.
Okay. See, I'm surprised Warner Brothers have got so behind having an adult Scooby when back in 2002 we weren't allowed one.
Well, it's a long time since then, right? So let's just say that. However, if this is going on, that should mean that we're due for the Gosnell cut, right? Like, why? And I get your point. Why is the Gosnell cut not okay now today, when this is okay? Not like I'm detracting from this, but that's kind of the first thing I'm thinking about in terms of wider Scooby stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking a look at the artwork and I genuinely don't like it. It's, for me, it doesn't look even slightly like Scooby animation.
But you don't like animation.
No, but the closest thing to Scooby animation is the one with ginger hair looks slightly like Daphne.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I'm not picking up Velma vibes from it at all. If anything, I was like, oh, orange hair, Daphne.
I think you've lost it there.
True.
Because
what? So you can see more Velma than Daphne in that image?
To be fair, this was pointed out to me. I did not even view that as Daphne. In fact, I'm sure that isn't Daphne.
I'm guessing it. Well, I don't know if it is or not.
But yeah, I guess let's talk about the coloured elephant in the room, shall we? I guess Velma's a coloured person. And I don't know, I'm a bit on the fence about that whole thing, because I feel like Mindy Kaling on Twitter's gone about it completely the wrong way. She's almost tried to play it off like, oh, everyone's a bad person if they're not behind this. But it's kind of like, and I've said this on Twitter, I think Mindy Kaling should do an interview on a show like this, right? With the people that are just here talking about this. Literally anyone that currently has like any type of Scooby thing, if it's us, if it's Smash by himself, or anyone that does this stuff. Because as of now, she's kind of just winding everyone up, whilst just hiding behind the guise of verified news outlet number 5, verified news outlet number 12. It seems very disconnected. But in terms of the colour themselves, like, I don't have an issue. Because we asked Bob Singer, didn't we, if the characters were made white on purpose. And he said no. And so my takeaway from that is, if they weren't made white on purpose, then it means that it's not as much of a fundamental of the character that it can't be changed. So that's kind of my thing. It's just my thing about this is, out of all of them to showcase, why Velma?
My thing with Velma is
not Daphne.
My thing with this image isn't, you know, how they're deciding to portray Velma. It's how it is just how they've drawn it. To me, it looks like a bad version of like Recess or Family Guy.
Yes.
Yeah, like see, when I watched this, I was just like, it looks like cheap overdone animation. Scooby, I don't know, Scooby still is it's animated, but the characters still look real. Does that make sense?
No.
It does.
See,
It doesn't. What do you mean, look real? Like, what, they've got...
No,
okay, they are proportional for humans and stuff, okay?
What about Be
Yeah.
Cool?
Apart from Be Cool, I can watch Scooby-Doo and think of them as people. I'm looking at that and not thinking that they look like people. It's over-stylized.
I don't know. I really am not bothered about animation style as long as the writing is good. Like, my favourite Spider-Man is the Spectacular Spider-Man, and you could argue that that doesn't look great. I mean, obviously, I think there'd be... I don't know if they could animate it differently or better. It just is what it is. I'm more of a person that focuses on writing rather than the animated style. I'm completely disconnected from that stuff, admittedly.
I've got a comment that I think Rhianna's gonna love.
Is it bonkers?
No, it's not. I think if they want to make Scooby an adult series, then they should have just done what they did with Scooby Natural.
Yes.
Series. Keep the characters looking the way that we recognise them. Keep it in that style, but perhaps make the stories a little bit darker like they did there where there was actual death and stuff. Because it's clear that's what they're intending to do based on this image where the person's got the top of their head chopped off. So keep the style that we like, perhaps just make the stories a little darker, like for Scooby Natural, and I think that would be a good series. And don't centre it on Velma.
Yeah.
Just don't. Because I think we learned this from Daphne and Velma. Don't cut out the rest of the gang. It doesn't work. No one's going to enjoy it.
Actually,
everyone dissociates the Daphne and Velma movie. About 50% of the community dissociate that movie from Scooby-Doo. Because you need Scooby-Doo. It's not Scooby-Doo without Scooby-Doo. And if that's what they're planning doing, then it's just going to be another car crash like the Daphne and Velma movie. Because that was abysmal. Sorry.
Well, I've seen that the only thing that they're cutting out is Scooby and the van. Supposedly we're getting a Shaggy, a Fred, and a Daphne.
See, I have a lot of issues with this. My first initial issue isn't the fact that, you know, they've changed Velma's ethnicity. One of my issues about that isn't that, actually. It's the fact that people like Mindy Kaling have said that if you don't like this series, you're racist, kind of thing. That makes me feel awful because from this initial image, I'm scared to watch this because I'm worried that if I watch it and I don't like it and I publicly say I don't, you know, it puts people in an awkward position in the fact that there's been quite a lot of she's been quite vocal about her views that if you don't like it, it's because of this. But it's, you know, for me, the art style I'm not keen on. You know, I'm not. I agree with Millie. If they wanted to make it more adult, make it more Scooby Natural. And also, I don't understand why everything has to have naked people in nowadays. Like, if you want it to be an adult cartoon, you know, that's not exactly the best first impression picture because it's just, it makes it look like, you know, that all it's going to be revolved around is a whole load of women walking around naked and people dying if they wear clothes.
See, that's the thing, and I think this is where Mindy's handled it completely wrong.
Love that.
Because it's like, you can make a similar comparison to when they made the Doctor from Doctor Who, a woman. Everyone was kind of like, I'm a bit skeptical about this, is this the right thing, is it the wrong thing? And then of course you had, say, Jodie Whittaker going, oh well, everyone's kind of views are a bit behind and it's time for change. And in this case here, with Mindy, I didn't hear where she exactly said that. I did say she said something like, oh, and as you may have noticed, this Velma is like East Asian, and if you have a problem with that, I don't care. I think the kind of thing is that when you put people in that situation, not only does it take away from genuine like criticism, but it does hide genuine racism. Like, there are genuinely people in the community that are not going to like this because Velma's coloured. But to paint everyone with that brush is kind of taking away for that. Like, I am sure that I've seen like 8 Twitter accounts making no kind of, what do you call it, like disguise or no secret of the fact that they're just not liking this because Velma's coloured. But to say that people with genuine criticism are racist as well is taking away from the genuine racism. But I guess I will say, I don't think we have got enough of this series yet to outwardly dislike it. Because then I think we are getting into the realm of prejudices, at least if it's inconsistent. Like, I guess if you didn't like Scooby Natural and don't like this, you're kind of a purist that way, then that makes sense. But
I would disagree. I'd say they've chosen this image purely for the shock factor. Like, they've deliberately chosen a head being chopped off and someone that looks like Daphne naked, because they're, like, just trying to evoke a reaction, like, this is the level that we're talking. There's going to be, like, death, blood, and nudity. I feel like they've chosen an image to get a shock reaction, where as opposed to, like, trying to do a fan-based reaction. Like, and I think this is kind of what I was saying about Daphne and Velma last week as well, is it didn't just seem like it was made for fans, it was made for a purpose of a message. Like it was just a huge feminism vote, that movie. It wasn't about, like, true pure Scooby. And you can tell me I sound like a purist, JayBee, and I can see you, like, pulling a face at me. But, like, if you release an image like this one, you're not going to have Scooby fans thinking, okay, this is a Scooby-Doo series, this is something I'm going to enjoy. If you wanted to do that, you'd have put the Mystery Machine in it. Because that flower pattern, that style, is something that is renowned. Scooby-Doo, you would see it and instantly know what it is. Whereas this, because this is the image they've chosen to release, instantly this isn't telling me that it's made for Scooby fans. It's made with a purpose, and that purpose is just the shock factor of it. And that's why this image is the first one they've released, to get that, oh my gosh, is this really Scooby kind of feel. Does that make sense to anyone other than me?
I see it, because
I understand.
I suppose it's like we're talking about the changes that they've made, like, a coloured Velma, and it's like, this is not the next iteration of Scooby. It's not the next Guess Who, except Velma's coloured. It's a coloured Velma plus, I guess, cartoon violence and semi-naked or naked women. It's a stark contrast, but that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like, it's more Mindy that's annoying me more than anything, because I almost feel like she's thrown, I guess, people like me, coloured people, to the wolves a bit, in that she's kind of done this massive thing that's going to get loads of backlash, and then just kind of pieced out and gone, oh, that's it for the day, I've kind of changed the world, now I'm going to go back to, like, my $1 billion mansion and just leave it until it starts making me some money. And that's kind of my thing. I think if she really cared about the changes that she was trying to make, which, me personally, I could produce something like that. I couldn't do it all single-handedly, obviously, but I could be directing something like this. I could have the concepts for an idea like this, and I'd be booking, or I'd just be on Twitter being more vocal, replying to people that have doubts, or replying to people that are supporting it, whereas she's just kind of pieced out beyond a few press releases. And for something so different, that's not the way to be. Like, the only thing she's commented on actively besides the press releases, oh yeah, she's East Asian, and if you have a problem with that, I don't care. And it's kind of like, how disconnected do you have to be, not even from the community, but just from PR in general, that that's the statement that you're going to make? That's my main issue. Art style, I don't care. Like, I'm just here for the story. Coloured Velma, again, I like it, it's alright. And as long as it isn't Kate McCucci voicing Velma, it's a plus for me. So that's kind of my thing. But I guess we've not heard too much from Smash. What's kind of your take on all this?
Alright, so I know I'm going to be the minority in all of this, because when it comes to Scooby-Doo, I am very much that person that's maybe a little too chipper and, like, yeah, let's try this and whatever, because my first initial reaction is, give it a chance. Let's just see what this is. I will say, like a lot of what you guys are saying, like their problem is, and I actually just read something on Twitter and I agree with it. Their problem is they're throwing Mindy as the face of this series, as she's the reason this series is being made. She's going to be doing this decision and this and this, and it's like, where's the writers? Where do we get to know who is writing this series? Because I don't care that Mindy's voicing Velma. I don't care that she's deciding this or that. Who is actually making the story? Because as JayBee has been saying, what's the story of this? They're going to be the ones that will really make this a hit or miss. And so sure, you can have whatever animation you want. You can have this or that happen. But give me the writers' names. Who are we working with actually internally in this series? And so that's one of my biggest things is I'm like, again, I'm maybe a little too positive on things until I've seen it, but so I just barely filmed a video about it, and kind of my 2 cents on it is it the first thing I want for Scooby-Doo? No. This is definitely not something I would have said. Give me a Velma series that's adult. Give me naked women and murders and stuff. Like, no, that's not the first thing for Scooby-Doo that I would have said. But since it is what we are getting, let me see it. Let me watch it. Let me take it in. I will watch the entirety of it. But then after that's said and done, then do I feel more obligated to say, I want more, or put that back on the shelf. I'm done with it. You know, that's kind of how I was with the Daphne and Velma movie when it was coming out. It's not exactly what I want, but give it to me, let me watch it, and then I'll decide, do I want more of that, or am I good with a one and done? Because the thing is like, something else we have to realize is this is an HBO Max exclusive. So, you know, if you don't have HBO Max, are you really gonna pay just to watch this? I don't think so, you know? And then if you do have HBO Max, again, you don't have to hit play. You don't have, like, if you're actually gonna go watch this, then, like, you actively have to go search for it. I mean, sure, when it comes out, it might be front page on HBO Max or whatever, but, like, you still have to click it. You still have to click play. You know, you still have a little bit of work to start it playing and stuff. So at that point, it's you consciously deciding to watch it. So if you don't want to watch it, great. You know, and everyone can have their own opinions. I mean, I think the whole thing about Velma being, you know, Indian or whatever, I think Mindy needs to calm down a little bit on that and be like, you know, Velma's been different ethnicities throughout the years. Shall we look at Scoob? You know, I mean, that wasn't a big thing, but you know, and to be honest, like my own personal, I've always wanted a series where they make Velma a person of color, but like, that's just how it is. You know, there's no big, like, because her mother's from this and her father's from, like, no, just make her colored and move on. You know, like, I just think it would be cool. And I've always kind of pictured, even though they're all white in all the other series, I've always kind of pictured Velma as like she would be the woman of color in this gang. And so I think that I'm excited to see that she's of color, but the fact that Mindy is making this out to be like the highlight of the show or whatever, I'm like, girl, just make her colored and move on. Like, you know, you don't need to be like shoving it in our faces, you know? I mean, there's already enough in this image to shove in our faces. And I agree with Milly that they chose this image very specifically to be like, look at our show, we're so adult and we have such raunchy stuff that you're gonna want to watch. And like, freaking what, you expect me to jerk off to this show or something? Like, I don't know, I don't love the image that they picked, but it's also a clear statement of, this isn't your mom and dada's Scooby-Doo, you know? Like, I mean, the fact that Scooby-Doo is not even going to be in the series, I'm like, to a point, I feel like they had this show idea, They said, how are we going to get it off the ground? Hey, how about we use iconic names? Okay, sure. Plaster those names on this show. There you go. But the fact that they are using these characters now makes me feel more obligated to watch it and interested in it. You know, if this show was nothing Scooby-Doo related at all, would I watch it? Probably not. I mean, there's a Netflix series. I've only watched a handful of episodes, and it's just not my forte, but it's called BoJack Horseman. And the whole time that this show has been, you know, like, releasing information and stuff, I've sat here and been like, so this is HBO Max's BoJack Horseman. Okay, I see what's going on here. I will admit, though, because I actually... I have little insights in Warner Brothers here and there, but someone had sent me like a year ago or something, like maybe not, I don't know, when it was like kind of initially announced, sent me like some concept pictures of what the series was going to look like and what the characters would look like, and it was a lot more of like is that show like Bob's Burgers. It was a lot more that style, and I was very much like I expect it, but like okay. So I will admit, this image that we're getting, although it's not completely different from that, it's actually a lot better than I had been thinking it was going to be for these last chunk of months. So I will say I was pleasantly surprised at how much better it looks, but I'm also not surprised with the direction they've gone. So I'm kind of going on a ramble now, but basically we need to just say, Mindy, it's great, you're the voice of her. Move on. And then give us everyone else that's working on this project. You know, who are the artists? Who are the writers? Who pitched this? Who approved it? Like, you know, because Mindy single-handedly didn't make all this, you know? And in a way, I feel bad, but I'm also annoyed. I'm like, I feel bad that Mindy's being the face of it, and now she's going to get all the backlash. But at the same time, I'm like, well, Mindy, you could be saying some other things to maybe help yourself a little bit, but whatever, you know. So, so at the end of the day, no, I'll hurry and wrap up. At the end of the day, this isn't what I want, but since it's what we're getting, I will take it, see how it is, and then after I've seen it, decide if I put it back on the shelf or if I'll want more. So I'll shut up now.
I guess here's a bit of breaking news, right? Like, my main criticism about how Mindy's been dealing with this is that she's not been doing any, and I hate this terminology, boots on the ground stuff, right? Like, she's been ivory tower, sat there, like, and that's been it. But she's actually now just started replying to people. So I was
I just
in all this post, I guess, because I'm the only coloured in the community. No, I'm not actually. There's that. What's his face? Well, no, I know he's Daphne. He's Daphne. I forgot his. I wanted to use his actual name.
Too.
Daphne. No, I know Daphne too. Okay.
Nikki?
Tiger Singh. Tiger Singh. He's coloured. But again, I don't know if he's on Twitter. I think he is actually. But anyway, I was tagged into this thing.
I was reading things from them.
And Mindy commented, "Hi guys, great to hear your voices. Like you, Charlie Grandy and the writers love Velma, as do I. She's a brilliant teen and leader. The situations she's in aren't horrible, we promise. They're legit scary mystery stories where she's the protagonist. She's funny and real teen. Also, and her past isn't troubled, it's spooky. We are so psyched about her and can't wait to talk to real deal Scooby fans like you closer to release. Is it more adult but real to authentic high school life? Yes, that's why it's fun, but also why it's worth doing. We got you." And so I kind of feel like that's restored my hope in a way that she's out there. She's like, and again, this wasn't a particularly positive comment section, I've got to say. I think besides Smash and I, we were the only ones really making anything close to positive comments, and so to kind of get in the middle of that, like
a podcast named Scooby-Doo,
podcast named Scooby-Doo has been good. with being fair to the premise.
Yeah.
But this is actually amazing that she's done this, because, and again, it could just be assistant number 5 saying, "Oh, can you shut these guys up? Can you make them happy?" Like, it may not be Mindy running this account. Let's just be clear, but it sounds pretty convincing nonetheless.
Rhianna, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
Sorry. I did see earlier, and so one of the posts that I saw earlier, I think it was by one of the top artists in this who's doing the series, but he's also one of the production managers, I want to say. I can't quite remember, but he worked on the Harley Quinn series, and I will say I did give that a shot, and it was really good. Apparently he had to say in the writing and everything, in the storylines and stuff. It was good. There were things that I liked, things that I didn't, and that in itself, I am somewhat excited to see where it leads. I think my biggest issue with the series that I'm nervous about is because I find comfort in the childlike Scooby-Doo, where it's safe for anyone of any age to watch, and knowing that, you know, there's going to be nudity and stuff like that, for me, it makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. But I will say I am going to give it a shot, and I'm glad that Mindy, you know, or one of her assistants, whoever it is, has put out that statement, because it takes, you know, her comments before, where it's like focusing purely on the race and ethnicity, to being, no, there's more to it than just that. So it's like restored my hope just a little bit.
I don't know how much more we can say about it, apart from the fact that I guess I'm gonna wrap it up with a single question to everyone, and I guess I'll start with Rhianna. And again, this is very different being in the UK. If this is somewhat accessible, will you be watching the first episode of Mindy Kaling's Velma?
I mean, it depends on, you know, if it is. I have a feeling we'll have to wait several years to possibly watch it, like 1 or 2 years, and it will probably be shown on E4 like Harley Quinn was. I will give it a shot, and I might see small clips first before I watch the whole entire episode, so I don't just invest myself into this one episode and want to spiral and watch the whole series, because I need to complete stuff when I start watching it.
See, I'm thinking this might be a case of we have to almost do a group call with Smash to be able to watch this.
Yeah, we might have to get on like Zoom, like,
Yeah.
oh, please tilt the screen that way. Stop.
Yeah. Smash, please can we call you on Zoom on your laptop, and can you turn the camera around so it's facing the TV, and then just press play?
I'm not against it.
I feel like that's what we'd have to do, but I'm up for that, because I do want to at least watch it. At least watch it once.
We'll all sit down together for the first time, watch it.
That would be good.
But I guess I can. Well, I guess Smash. You've already said that you're gonna watch it. I guess Milly, do you wanna watch it?
I feel like I want to watch it, but I'm only gonna watch it once, I presume.
What do you mean,
Like, I want to watch
one?
it, so I'll watch the full series, because I guess I want to review it, I want to talk to you all about it, but I can't see that I'd ever be sat going, hey, I want to watch a Scooby-Doo episode. Do I want to put on an episode of What's New Scooby-Doo with the great music, great stories, great animation, or do I want to watch an episode of Velma? I don't ever see a universe where I would choose to watch that over like something like What's New.
I agree, but then again, I think here's the thing though. I am so anti-purist that I'm excited anyway. But the thing is that if this is good, I think the purists will never admit it. If it's bad, then for integrity, I have to admit it, and the purists are going to have a field day with it. So there is a lot resting on this. And I think people can be proved wrong.
Are you just saying that you're going to enjoy it to be anti-purist because you don't want to be seen as the purist?
I don't know. If it's bad, I'm going to be angry because one, it's Velma, right? So already
they chose the wrong one.
They chose the wrong one. But not only that, if you think about it, I, as a coloured person, right? Not a lot of people. I don't know. I'm not going to say not a lot of people, but it's it can be a struggle in terms of representation. It's not everything. I don't want it to seem like, oh, it's oh, look at poor me, I smell like curry. No, like, who cares?
Oh my
like,
gosh.
who cares? I heard it enough in school. I don't mind. If it was purely white people on TV for the future, fine. I don't care. It's like it's nothing. However, if it sucks, I almost feel like that's gonna tell big high ups at Warner Brothers or whoever the heck is really behind this, are gonna go, oh, we can't try this again. Like, unless they double down, which is possible, because a lot of these like female only action movies do badly at the box office. I mean, there's at least 2 a year. But for me personally, I'm gonna be, and I've said this on Twitter, right, and I promise this as my own integrity. If this is a really awful episode, if it's a really awful show, you will not find anyone on the internet that's going to be harsher and crueler to the episode than me. That's my pledge.
Okay.
That is my pledge.
I will believe you. But I guess, like JayBee said, there's really nothing more to say at this point other than to stick around on the channel, because we would really like to review this when it comes out and kind of explore all our thoughts with that. So subscribe to the channel for that, turn on notifications so you see when the video comes up. And yeah, we have so much more Scooby content coming your way, including interviews, reviews of the movies, so much more. So like, comment and subscribe to JayBee Milly, and links to Smash and Rhianna will also be in the description. Like Smash said, he has just put a video out on this as well.
Yay!